Hi there, just like to talk for a couple of minutes about results mapping and share a story of one of those results maps with you. So results mapping comes from PUMP. It's step 2 of PUMP, which is the performance measurement process developed by Stacey Barr. And results mapping is the technique we use to make sure that what we're trying to achieve is measurable, and we build a framework for the measurement for a set of outcomes. Anyway, this is how it works. So we start with a results map like this, where we have a set of outcomes. And these outcomes or results are all based on cause and effect. So that's cause and effect through the layers of the results map. So these statements in here, in each one of these bubbles, if you like, are results or outcomes. What we do is we move away from the activity that the team is undertaking out here and focus on the outcomes that comes from the work that the team does, and then build a cause and effect framework that then leads us to the results that come from vision, mission, and purpose for the organization. So cause and effect flow. And cause and effect is important to try and understand how we can influence performance over time. We need to understand that cause and effect. When we understand that and we have a set of performance measures for it, which is what we do next once we've got the framework in place, we design and select performance measures for each one of those results. It then gives us this performance measurement framework, which means, and for all of our performance measures and results, they get into a context for the organization. Right? We're not just taking lists of measures and taking one measure out and looking at it. We're actually looking at how it fits within that framework, and particularly in that cause and effect framework. So here's an example. This is an organization I worked with. The team that I worked with were part of a transformation program, and they were a group of subject matter experts brought together to develop a performance measurement framework. And when we had to develop the framework, we said, what's in the center of that framework? And this is what we had. Now, if you know anything about the measurability tests that are in step 2 of PUMP, you know that the first test is that we should be focusing on results, not actions. Okay? And then the second one is there's no weasel words. In other words, we're pretty clear about what those results mean. Now, you could argue that each one of these statements are quite weaselly. However, what the executive and the consultancy group that they worked with came up with when they came up with these strategic pillars, is what they call them. They had a set of performance measures for each one of these strategic pillars. So those performance measures allowed us to understand what they meant about, for example, world-class performance, because they had about 6 measures that said this is what world-class performance looks like for a water utility. So because of that, they then became de-weaseled, and therefore they were useful for us, particularly with their performance measures, to use as the center for our results map. So the team then were able to build that next level of results, cause and effect, that apply into that center around the 3 pillars. Then the next level. And then they collaborated with teams to figure out that next level of results. So through that, they were able to create a cause and effect framework that led from the work that teams do through to the realization of vision, mission, and purpose, which was reflected in these strategic pillars. The team then jumped into step 3 of PUMP, which was about how you design and select performance measures. And they chose to do all of these blue results. So when they had the measures designed and selected for those performance results, we went into step 4 of PUMP, which was about how you engage with the organization and seek their feedback about what you've developed. Because what you've developed is your version, your understanding of what the results are and what the measures are, but it's about also engaging with people in the organization, allowing them to buy into the process and the results and the measures you've designed by providing feedback and some critique. So this is what it looked like. The team set up in their conference room. They're the results. These are the measures and the measure names. and people are providing feedback around each one of these measures and each one of these results. And there was a huge amount of feedback collated by the team. What the team then did was collate that feedback and use it to fine-tune the results and measures that they had come up with. What they also did was went out to some of the depots and engaged with people who often aren't involved in this head office stuff. They're the guys in the depots, and they engaged with these people as well and collected and used their feedback. So after a couple of days with the measure gallery, this was all the feedback we had on the results map. And the extraordinary thing about that, for me, was that people can very easily agree on what the results or the outcomes are for the organisation. What they'll argue about, or what there'll be massive debate over, is the priorities or the initiatives or the projects or the key actions to put in place. If we can agree on our set of results, which these guys did, and have measures for each one of those, the next step then is to prioritise those results and then to work through a process of prioritising the initiatives and the actions that have the most impact on those particular outcomes. If we can do that, that gets us into a much better place, because everyone in the organisation can see how they contribute through these outcomes into the outcomes in the centre of the map. They can see how they can contribute to realisation of vision, mission and purpose, and how they're making progress towards those strategic pillars in the centre. And that's one of the most powerful parts of the results map, is on one page you can get a whole organisation and everybody can agree on what those outcomes are. The debate then still occurs about what to do next in terms of the priorities and the initiatives and the actions. But once you've agreed on where you're going, it's much easier then to get the priorities around the initiatives. And also, you can assess the efficacy of those initiatives by using the performance measures you have around each one of these results, because those initiatives will be making an impact or not, or to some degree, on each one of those outcomes. Anyway, I hope this has been of value, and thanks for watching.